Welcome to the Anxiety Slayer series. Our mission is to assist you with creating more peace and tranquility in your life through anxiety release exercises and supportive tools created to slay your anxiety. Today's Anxiety Slayer podcast is brought to you by the Anxiety Slayer Academy. We've been offering a free podcast for almost 9 years to help anyone suffering with anxiety find relief. Now we're helping you go deeper by providing step-by-step support on how you can get the best experience from our favorite tools and techniques for overcoming anxiety. Visit the Anxiety Slayer Academy and get your free Anxiety Slayer starter course at anxietyslayer.teachable.com. Welcome back to Anxiety Slayer. I'm Shan Vanderleek, here today with my wonderful friend and partner, Ananga Sivyer. We come together weekly from Kent and Leelanau to share Anxiety Slayer sessions with you and answer listener questions from our inbox and Facebook page. Together, we share a powerful collection of techniques to reduce anxiety. And this week, we're talking about some messages we've received from our listeners who are slaying their anxiety, and especially a lovely letter that we received from a longtime listener that I'll share with you now. I'm now using the magnesium powder, Bach flower remedies, and do EFT tapping. In addition, I love the tone of your voices when both of you communicate. It's at night when I lay down to hear your podcast before going to sleep, because I read somewhere that the last thing you hear before you go to sleep, you can have it in your conscious state as you relax. And so I recall the lessons I learn in your podcasts and refresh my memory often each night, maybe listening to 1 or 2 podcasts before I go to sleep. What a lovely letter to receive. Anytime you move forward and try the different techniques and remedies that we share and they start working, it makes our hearts so happy. We love receiving these messages because this reminds us that we're not alone and that it's always worth taking action.
I think it's really helpful to share success stories because our mind can play a lot of tricks on us when we're suffering with anxiety. We recorded a podcast some time ago about 4 lies anxiety likes to tell you. Things like, no one understands me, nothing works. And these lies of anxiety stop us taking action. They erode our confidence, and it's very difficult to get through them and beyond. So for me, this is really important to share what's helping and share success stories with each other. This is happening a lot in our private Facebook group at the moment. The members there are really supporting each other beautifully. So I'd just like to speak a little more about the challenges we can have with our mind and why this is so helpful. Ayurveda teaches that the mind is prone to isolation when it's suffering. We really tend to think that this is just me. Either we think there's something wrong with me, or we make negative comparisons with others, and we just tuck ourselves away and really think that this isn't an experience that's unique to us. And it's really helpful when we read the success of others to be enticed out of that state and be encouraged to take action. I was listening to a talk a few days ago where somebody was talking to a group psychotherapist, and he asked him, so how does it work, therapy in groups? Do people really get so much out of that? Compared to a one-on-one session where people can talk to you in confidence and really reveal their heart and mind and get support from you. And the therapist replied, group therapy is fantastic. It's so effective because people support each other, and the first thing they learn is that they're not alone. And that for him was like the real key bonus of group therapy, supporting each other. So these success stories help us get through that isolating nature of the mind. You're not alone. So many people are suffering with anxiety, and so many people are finding ways to cope with it. So to really be encouraged by this and start taking action.
And from other messages that we've received, we've drawn out a few more things that our listeners are trying that they're having success with. Certainly EFT tapping is at the top of the list. Herbal teas. Rescue remedy is also another choice. Gosh, Ananga, you and I have been talking about that since the beginning. And so it's incredibly satisfying when listeners try it and find relief from the different rescue remedies that are available and the different flower essences that Bach makes. Magnesium has also been coming up a lot, and we had the honor of interviewing Dr. Carolyn Dean a while back and learned so much more about magnesium. Both Ananga and I use the Natural Calm magnesium drinks and love them. They work beautifully. And so we love seeing that you're trying these things, all of which by themselves or together can really help you move through your anxiety so much quicker.
Yeah, I had a lovely message from somebody last week. She said she was making cauldrons of herbal tea. She'd picked out some herbs that she was really drawn to from our podcast on teas, and she'd picked lavender and lemon balm, and she was getting the fresh herbs and brewing up her own blends. And that was really wonderful. These herbs, they're not lightweight because anxiety is so big. We really feel like, oh, lavender, what's that going to do? I'd just like to talk a little bit about lavender and just how potent it is for overcoming anxiety. My herbalist friend, Ayurvedic expert and practitioner, Sebastian Pol, he's the man behind Pukka Teas and Pukka Herbs. He reminded me recently that lavender helps rebuild trust. Really been meditating on it. At this time of year, it's lavender season. It's in the UK, the lavender's beginning to flower. So reminded by that, by his words, I went and got myself a fresh sachet of lavender flowers, and I have them in my pillowcase to sniff when I go to take rest at night. And I've got myself some fresh essential oil, which I always love to do at this time of the year. And you can use lavender on your pulse points, on your wrist, your neck, insides of your elbows, and a drop over your heart, and just inhale that aroma. You can also put it in hot water and inhale it as a steam, which is particularly helpful for the type of anxiety that we've been talking about in recent podcasts, what Ayurveda describes as vata anxiety that's provoked by cold and different attributes that we spoke about previously in Ayurveda. By putting the lavender in steam, it delivers it really beautifully in a warm, moist infusion, which really counteracts those qualities that aggravate anxiety. So just something beautiful to meditate on. That lavender helps us rebuild trust. And thinking about it, a lot of our anxiety issues are trust issues. Health anxiety, we could say, are we trusting our body? Social anxiety, are we trusting ourselves and others? We get a lot of letters from people who say they're scared of being alone, scared that others will leave them, and a lot of letters about anticipatory anxiety, which you could say is trust related to the future. So I think these simple things of embracing a herb, really developing an appreciative relationship with it, can make such a difference. We just start trying these simple steps every day, and then you could be writing us a letter too.
And I think it's important that we finish our conversation today talking about the unexciting secret to overcoming anxiety.
Yeah.
And that is that if you want to conquer anxiety, you simply must cultivate persistence and patience. It really is a daily practice, sometimes an hour by hour practice. Just remember that. And as you said earlier, Ananga, you're not alone. We are in this together, and we've got your back, and we know that you've got your own as well, that you can do this. You can try all of these different remedies and teas and tapping and breathing practices and see what works for you and keep at it. And we realize that this isn't necessarily what you want to hear, because the anxious mind is erratic and restless and unsettled. You might be thinking to yourself, how can I be patient or stick to anything when I feel anxious? Just remember, it's just one step at a time. And we're here to support you. And all of us need support to get started. And that's where these success stories really, really help. They encourage us to take action so that we can start trying some recommended techniques to really help calm our minds. Ananga, I'm so glad we talked about this today and shared. We've received so many lovely letters, and to be able to share these success stories means a lot. And I hope that our listeners take away something from this today, and that you try something new if you're listening in right now. You owe it to yourself to just go for it. Get everything you need to start slaying your anxiety today. Visit anxietyslayer.teachable.com to claim our free Anxiety Slayer starter course. You get 4 guided sessions, including an EFT tapping session, guided breathing practice, and special module on overcoming the fear of anxiety. Claim your free Anxiety Slayer starter course at anxietyslayer.teachable.com.